Hello class, welcome back. Today we're going to review surface area and volume. This is our 9th lesson in Unit 10. Before we begin, please take out your completed study guide. If you have not completed your study guide, you need to do so at this time. Do not go on to view your answers until you have completed your study guide. Let's begin by reviewing your answers. The directions read, answer each question as completely and with as much detail as possible. Include models, diagrams, and written explanations. Make sure that your math steps are clear and easy to follow. The Singer family packs popcorn in rectangular boxes to give away during Christmas parties. The boxes filled with popcorn are gift wrapped. Question 1. Calculate the amount of wrapping paper that each box will require. The key word here is wrapping paper, and that means that you're going to have to calculate the surface area. So the top and the bottom are 95 square centimeters. The front and the back are 228 square centimeters, and the side is 60 square centimeters. If you add all 6 sides together, the surface area will be 766 square centimeters. Make sure you include your units. Number 2. How many cubic centimeters of popcorn could you fit inside one box? So how much popcorn goes inside? You're going to have to calculate the volume. So volume is length times width times height, 19 times 5 times 12, and your volume is 1,140 cubic centimeters. A block company built the shape shown below. The shape will be painted red. Calculate the total area that needs to be painted. So you're going to paint the outside, and that is surface area. So if you look at this block, it will be 5 sides of the cube or the rectangular prism that you're going to have to calculate, because you're not going to calculate the part that's attached to the pyramid. So the 5 sides, the surface area will be 105 square inches. And then you look at the pyramid, you're not going to paint the base of the pyramid, just the 4 sides. So here it will be 30 square inches. So if you add the 5 sides of the rectangular prism, the 4 sides of the pyramid, you will get 135 square inches. Question 4. It costs 5 cents to paint 1 square inch of the block. Calculate the cost of painting the entire shape. So you take the amount of the surface area for problem number 3 and multiply it by 5 cents, and it's going to cost you $6.75. Question 5. A ream of copy paper is shown below, 11 inches by 8.5 inches by 2 inches, and will be packed inside a cardboard box. The box is 99 inches long, 34 inches wide, and 14 inches tall. That box is not shown here, but you can draw it if you would like. How many reams of copy paper can be packed inside the larger cardboard box? You will have to find the volume of the larger one, and then the volume of the smaller one. The volume of the larger box is 47,124 cubic inches. The volume of the smaller one is 187 cubic inches, and you divide the two, and you can fit 252 reams of paper inside the larger cardboard box. Question 6. A rectangular prism has edges of 3.5 inches, 1 inch, and 1 1/4 inches. Calculate the volume of the rectangular prism. Volume is equal to length times width times height. You plug in your numbers, and the volume is 4.375 cubic inches, or 4 3/8 cubic inches. What did I forget to do here? I forgot to include my units. So make sure, I will get the point taken off. So make sure you include your units here. Now, question number 7. How many cubes with the side length of 1/4 each will be needed to fill the prism. You take the volume of the larger one, you take the volume of the smaller one, 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4 is equal to 1/64, or 1/64 is equal to this large decimal here. You divide the two, and you will get 280 cubes. If you use the fraction method here, you would get the same 280 cubes. Number 8. Find the volume of the prism. Volume is equal to length times width times height. You plug in your numbers, and the volume is 166.075 cubic inches. Number 9. Which set of rectangular prism dimensions shown below has the greatest surface area? For this problem, you have to calculate the surface area of all 4 of these numbers, and then you find the one that has the greatest surface area, which would be B. Question 10. Name the space figure formed by the net. This is a triangular prism. For number 11, determine the surface area of the prism formed by the following net. Here I have to calculate the area of all 6 sides. I add them together. The surface area is 160 square inches. Number 12, find the volume of the prism to the nearest tenth. So you find the volume equals length times width times height, plug in the numbers, and here it gave it to the nearest hundred, so I have to round it, the directions say to the nearest tenth. So I underline the tenths place, I circle the one right beside it, which is the hundredths, and I look, does that 6 make the 3 go up or stay the same? It's going to make it go up. So your volume is 35.4 cubic meters, and that is your final answer. For number 13, the prism above is built out of aluminum. If 1 cubic centimeter of aluminum weighs 2.7 grams, what is the weight of the wooden prism? You take the volume, 35.36, and you multiply it by 2.7, and your answer is 95.472 grams. However, if you use the rounded one, 35.4, and you multiply that by 2.7, your answer would be 95.58 grams. So if you calculated it with the rounded version, that would be your answer, so either one would be correct. Number 14. Elena wants to paint her jewelry box blue. The jewelry box is in the shape of a cube and has an edge length of 7 inches. Draw out your figure. How much blue paint will Elena need? So you draw out your figure. Every side is 7. You're having to calculate the surface area. So 7 times 7 is 49, and you have 6 sides to a cube. So the surface area is 294 cubic square inches. 294 square inches. Number 15. Ronaldo builds a pool in his backyard. The pool measures 70 feet long, 32 feet wide, and 6 feet deep. How much water will need to fit in the pool? Here you're talking about the volume. Draw out your figure. Volume is length times width times height. Plug in your number, and so your volume is 13,440 cubic feet. For problem 16, find the volume of the prism. You have to count the sides. Here's 6 by 3 by 3. The volume is 54 cubic units. Number 17, find the volume of the prism above if each cube measures 1/4 inch on each side. So this is 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. That would be 5/4 or 1 1/4. Here would be 1/4 and 1/4, which would equal 2/4 or 1/2. And again, this one is 1/4 and 1/4, 2/4 or 1/2, either way. You multiply it out, and your answer is 5/16 cubic inches, or you could go 0.3125 cubic inches. Problem 18. What are the dimensions of the prism below if each cube measures 1/2 inch on each side? The dimensions would be 2 1/2, 1 1/2, and 1/2. Each one is 1/2 inch long, so 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 5/4. This would be, 5/2. This would be 3/2, and that is 1/2. So that would be the dimensions. If you find the volume would be 1 7/8 cubic inches, or 1.875 cubic inches. But it didn't ask for the volume, it just asked for the dimensions. Number 19, find the surface area of the cube. Here's the cube, every side is the same. So 7 times 7 is 49. 49 times 6 sides would give you 294 square meters. And for number 20, find the surface area of this triangular prism. So the triangular prism has 5 sides. It has 2 triangles, 3 rectangles. You calculate the area of each side, you add them all together, and so the surface area is 672 square centimeters. Now it's time for you to complete your quiz. Quiz reminders. You need to complete the paper copy of the quiz first. You need to see your teacher for the paper copy of the quiz. Enter your answers online, and you are allowed to use a calculator. Now you are to complete your quiz at school. Please do not take your quizzes home to complete. For homework tonight, you need to study for the Unit 10 test by reworking the study guide. If you would like, you can print off an extra copy of the study guide. It can be found on Blackboard, and you can complete that and rework it. You also need to make corrections to the study guide. So for every question that you got wrong, please go back, rework it, and write down what you did, what mistakes you made, and how you plan to fix that. I just don't want you making the same mistakes on your test. Now remember, the study guide looks exactly like the test, so the best way to study for your math test is by reworking the study guide. So good luck, and I hope you have a great afternoon.